This is Dan Miller with Miller Financial Group, and this is our class, 5 Steps to Building a Retirement Income Plan. You know, your retirement income plan must be balanced. It must balance 3 main goals: maximizing your ability to enjoy your retirement, managing the risk of potentially outliving your income, and you must manage the risk of unexpected events. We have a 5-step process. Step number 1, determine when you will retire and what that will look like. So when will you retire and how long will it last? We know we're all living longer as Americans. You know, the average 65-year-old can now expect to live almost another 20 years. And with advances in healthcare, you know, our average life expectancy is likely to continue to increase. You know, retirement now for many people may last 25 years or more. So all retirement income plans must be made with longevity in mind. Step number 2, estimate how much income you'll need or want. And again, it's not all about how much you need, it's also about how much you want. You didn't work your whole life to just get by. So the rule of thumb is you'll need 70 to 90% of your pre-retirement income. Now, I'm not a big fan of rules of thumb because everyone's situation is different, and that's part of the reason why we do the plan. Another thing is expenses will change throughout retirement. Your mortgage may decrease or go away. Healthcare costs may increase potentially, and of course you'll have to deal with inflation and taxes. You must also account, of course, for special retirement pursuits. Maybe there's travel that you've always wanted to do. Maybe there's hobbies or a vacation home that you've always wanted to buy. So those are also need to be included. And then also your spending patterns in retirement are more than likely to not be a linear movement. Many folks right after they retire, they have the go-go years where they travel. Then often they opt for maybe slowing down, some go slow years, and then unfortunately we all have the no-go years later on during our retirement. Step number 3, identify all your income sources, expenses, and goals. Well, whenever we look at sources of retirement income, we utilize the 3-legged stool. And it's kind of an old concept, but there are 3 main sources throughout that we normally look at. Of course, Social Security, most folks are eligible for Social Security. Some folks aren't. And there's a lot of different factors that play into how we take our Social Security benefits, depending on your spouse and a lot of other things. Pension income. Unfortunately, there's not very many folks that do qualify for pension income from their employers. Sometimes that has to be created with tools privately. And then the last one, and usually the biggest source, is savings and investments. And of course, this will include things such as your personal savings, maybe a non-qualified brokerage account, 401ks, 403bs, IRAs. Maybe you also have non-cash investments that provide an income for you, things such as rental income, or maybe you have farm income, or maybe you receive royalties. So these are other sources, and all of these sources must be combined together as part of your retirement income plan. Step number 4, this is where the magic happens. Construct income plan with your MFG advisory team, build around your goals and what is important to you. Well, some of those factors that we have to consider when we do retirement income planning is, of course, we have to account for inflation. If you think about it, it costs more to buy the same basket of goods today than it did 10 years ago, and it probably will 10 years from now or 20 years from now. We also must recognize the impact of taxes, things such as income taxes, capital gains, and other taxes. You also have to understand your potential sources of risk. You know, there's market risk that we cannot exactly control, there's interest rate risk, and there's also things such as longevity risk, and that's the risk that if your plan is not done correctly, that you could outlive your money. So we must address these risks plus more. The other thing to think about when it comes to your savings and investments is you're now looking at a distribution plan. During your working years, you were accumulating assets. Now we're looking at distribution. We're looking at spending down our money. So an effective distribution plan provides for ongoing income with the likelihood that that savings will last as long as you do. That's very, very key. You must try to also minimize asset volatility as best you can. And again, your income needs to make sure and keep pace with that inflation so that your standard of living does not drop. You also, of course, want to do it with a setup with a tax management lens in mind. And we can't completely avoid taxes, but we can manage them to the best of our ability. And then, of course, it also balances immediate income needs with long-term returns and goals. When it comes to retirement income planning also, it's very important to realize that there is more that goes into it than just your income. You also need to account for what your legacy is going to be, your estate planning, Social Security and Medicare planning, like I mentioned, tax planning, and if you're going to have, if you have IRAs, your required minimum distributions, and all the different pieces that must be included and taken into consideration for a retirement built to last retirement income plan. So step number 5, after the plan is complete, then the work is not completely done. Then on an annual basis, at a minimum, we like to periodically adjust your plan based on what's happening in your life, life events, and I want you to know that MFG will be there with you the entire time. So just as a quick recap, the first thing to do is meet with MFG Retirement Income Planning Team, design a plan that's built around what is important to you. Then you need to determine what you want retirement to look like, when will you retire and where will you live, how much annual income that you'll need or want, what resources do you have to fund your goals, and then you have to construct and monitor a plan built around all the pieces of your financial life. And again, when it comes to Miller Financial Group, our retirement income plans are built around what matters to you and what we can help you control. Thank you for watching.